Hello, my name is Thatcher Lincheck. I'm a junior at Miami University studying mechanical engineering, and I'm a member of Cohort 11 of the Lilly Leadership Institute. I'm joined today by Ryan Holthouse to talk about the KPMG survey, Generative AI from Buzz to Business. So how about you introduce yourself, Ryan, and then we'll get to questions.
Yeah, well, my name is Ryan Holthouse. I'm a junior computer science major here at Miami, also a member of Cohort 11 in the Lilly Leadership Institute, and excited to talk about this.
Yeah, so for my first question, I just want to know, so the KPMG survey goes over a lot of different data. So let's start with 77% of executives are ranking generative AI as the most impactful technology. So what do you think is influenced this decision, and why does generative AI rank so highly?
Yeah, I think for a lot of companies, it's a matter of efficiency, growing their market shares, and just generally gaining a competitive edge. AI obviously presents huge opportunities across the board. You kind of have to look at it beyond just, we're not making existing work go faster alone. We're also boosting worker capabilities to do more and automate some repetitive tasks, allow for more. That's just with busy tasks alone. In the article, KPMG mentions countless sectors with different applications that they can benefit from generative AI. I mean, in marketing and sales, we could see it being used for generated advertising content or consumer interactions. And in scientific communities like medical fields or life sciences, it can be applied to test out new molecules, new chemical solutions, see how things kind of work together. Regardless of the actual area, there's so much room for generative AI to push business forward. And I think it'll become very clear over time that embracing AI is really going to show the difference between those companies that do and those that don't, and market shares, all of that.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's definitely an important idea, and I think just working on that is going to be big. So then what barriers of entry do you think exists for implementing generative AI? And what do you think executives and companies will implement to remove these barriers?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of big concerns. One big one is cybersecurity, at least that I see. Specifically, the article cites lack of talent, cost issues, and unclear applications. As for unclear applications of AI, in terms of kind of removing that barrier, I think that that's something you just kind of have to play around with, test out a little bit. Obviously, you don't know the full extent of how you can use it before you try it out. As for lack of talent, I think that can almost be wrapped up with the cost issues. Not only do we account for the potential corporate licensing that comes with using outside large language models, obviously a lot are free, but sometimes you need to consider bringing in corporate instances for security, making sure that your data is protected within an in-house instance. But you also need to account for the cost of either bringing in experienced professionals who understand AI platforms, who can really apply those within the business, as well as training existing employees, bringing them up to speed on that. Naturally, that's something that would also come with kind of bringing it in and doing some test applications of AI, some test embracing kind of on a smaller scale. But, that's all something that needs to be considered. I think the biggest way to remove those barriers is just, like I said, test things out on a smaller scale, kind of ease the transition. Obviously, a lot of companies want to really push to get this done, but kind of implementing on a small scale and then bringing in more bigger applications, I think is going to be the best way to combat a lot of that, as we're seeing in the article and beyond.
Yeah, that's a really good point. So finally, just on KPMG itself, they talk about regulation of AI, and specifically more regulations like the U.S. government's AI Bill of Rights. How do you think that will impact executives and their willingness to implement AI solutions?
Yeah, I think the US Bill of Rights, as well as other acts that exist, like the EU AI Act, are both really important pieces of legislation. They've been in the news a lot. And I think the biggest thing that steers a lot of executives away from implementing AI solutions is, as KPMG suggests, the monetary factor that comes from the potential breaking of those acts. I mean, for the EU AI Act, it requires companies to properly evaluate system AI risks, and companies found in violation of that can face fines of up to about 30 million euros or 6% of their annual income. So it's no small number. I mean, especially with acts in place in the EU, like the GDPR, data is a highly sensitive topic. So it's not surprising to see companies kind of wary of, not wanting to push it as much with their data and, be a little bit more safe than sorry on the AI implementation. I think that's another valid barrier that exists as well, especially when money is involved and there's potential fines for that. It's just going to be, figuring out how to get through that.
Yeah, I agree. I do think money is always a big reason for a lot of things. So wrapping up here, I just want to know how you currently are using AI and implementing that into your daily life, and how you yourself are embracing AI, and why you think that it's important for all of us to continue to embrace AI and just continue to use it and get familiar with it.
Yeah, well, myself, I am somebody who I like to look over work a lot, especially when I'm writing things. So for me, my biggest application of AI has been kind of using it to look over my work, do some extra proofreadings, see what I'm potentially missing in my work. And I think that's another big application for real world applications, work tasks as well. Rather than having to run something through 7 layers of approval, that's something we could, maybe run through an AI client and have them clear that out. As for the importance of AI, I just think, as we've gone over, there's so many opportunities for it. There's so many ways it can be applied. And, while there is risks associated with it that we have to manage, I think that's if we can fight through those, the frontier for AI is just limitless. So,
Yeah, thank you so much.
yep. Thank you so much.